Summer Game Fest 2026 just dropped some massive reveals, and a ton of them are coming to Nintendo Switch. Here are the 25 biggest games from the show. The first game on this list is one of the most anticipated reveals of the entire event. Final Fantasy VII Revelation is the third and final chapter of the FF7 Remake trilogy, officially confirmed for a simultaneous spring 2027 launch on Nintendo Switch 2, alongside all other platforms. The trailer showed open-world exploration aboard the Highwind, Vincent Valentine and Sid Highwind as playable characters, and what looks like the most ambitious entry in the series yet. The simultaneous multi-platform launch is a historic first for the trilogy, and a massive win for Switch players. Coming in at number 2, Resident Evil Veronica is the full remake of the 2000 classic Code Veronica that fans have been asking Capcom to revisit for over 2 decades. Claire Redfield returns to search for her brother Chris across Rockford Island and Antarctica, this time with rebuilt visuals and modernized gameplay systems. The game is targeting a 2027 launch on Switch 2, alongside other platforms. Capcom opened Summer Game Fest with this reveal, which tells you everything about how highly the studio regards it. At number 3, Alien Isolation 2 was one of the most exciting announcements of the entire show, arriving 12 years after the original became a horror gaming landmark. A new protagonist takes over this time, navigating Kurosaki Station, a Weyland-Yutani outpost on a storm-ravaged planet, and the Xenomorph AI has been rebuilt to be smarter and more aggressive than before. The game is confirmed for Switch 2, though currently in pre-alpha with no release date yet. Horror fans have been waiting a long time for this one. Fourth on the list, Street Fighter VI Year 4 brought one of the biggest crossover surprises of the show when Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy was confirmed as a playable character joining the roster. Year 4 content is already playable on Switch 2 through the existing Street Fighter VI release, making this immediately accessible to players right now. The addition of Tifa generated enormous buzz online and pushed the game back into trending searches globally within hours of the announcement trailer dropping. At number 5, Attack on Titan 3 from Koei Tecmo was officially revealed at Summer Game Fest and confirmed for Nintendo Switch 2. Described as the riveting culmination of the action game series, it follows the final arc of the anime and manga story, with the hack-and-slash combat and ODM gear movement that fans of the previous 2 games know well. No release date has been announced yet, but the Switch 2 confirmation was explicit, and the reveal trailer showed what looks like the most visually detailed entry in the series. Number 6 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, and the fact that this franchise is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 is genuinely historic. Modern Warfare 4 brings the full campaign and multiplayer suite to the platform, confirmed for Switch 2 with all the content available on other consoles. This is the first mainline Call of Duty on a Nintendo platform in years, and it is generating some of the highest YouTube search traffic of any game on this list. If you have a Switch 2, this is an absolutely significant release. At number 7, Spyro: A Realm Beyond marks the first brand new Spyro the Dragon game in years, officially revealed at Summer Game Fest and confirmed for Switch 2 with a 2027 window. The series has been dormant since the Reignited trilogy, so this was one of the more emotionally charged reveals of the entire weekend. Early footage showed a colorful new world, with the classic Spyro feel updated for modern hardware. Switch 2 players getting this simultaneously with other platforms is the kind of third-party support that Nintendo fans have been hoping for. Coming in at number 8, Minecraft Dungeons 2 expands on the beloved dungeon crawler with a confirmed September 2026 launch on Switch 2. The original Minecraft Dungeons was enormously popular with families and younger players on Switch, and this sequel builds on that foundation with new environments, enemy types, and multiplayer features. It sits right in the sweet spot between accessible and genuinely engaging co-op gameplay, and the Minecraft brand ensures it will be one of the most searched game titles on the Nintendo eShop for the rest of the year. Ninth on the list, 007 First Light received a Year 1 roadmap reveal at Summer Game Fest, alongside confirmation of its Switch 2 release window. You step into the role of a new Bond as a young agent navigating early career missions, with IO Interactive bringing their Hitman-level polish to the spy genre. The game has already been one of the most anticipated titles of 2026, and the Switch 2 roadmap confirmation solidifies it as a major upcoming release for the platform. Spy game fans on Nintendo hardware have a lot to look forward to here. At number 10, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds received a Season Pass 2 announcement at Summer Game Fest, with 6 new DLC packs confirmed for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. The base game is already available and is one of the strongest racing titles currently on the platform, featuring crossover characters from multiple Sega franchises competing across creatively designed tracks. The Season Pass 2 announcement signals that the game has strong enough player numbers to justify a continued content pipeline, which is always a good sign for long-term value and community health. Number 11 is Hot Wheels Infinite Rush, announced at Summer Game Fest with a September 2026 launch date confirmed for Switch 2. This is a new open-world Hot Wheels racing game that goes well beyond the track, letting players explore a massive environment rather than sticking to set circuits. The presentation looked genuinely impressive for the franchise, and the September release date makes it one of the nearer-term titles on this entire list. Racing game fans who want something high-energy and visually distinct from the realistic simulation genre should keep a close eye on this one. Coming in at number 12, Crazy Taxi World Tour was officially announced for Nintendo Switch 2 at Summer Game Fest with a 2027 launch window. The Sega Classic is getting a full modern revival, with worldwide locations replacing the original game's single city setting. The nostalgia factor for this franchise is enormous among players who grew up in the Dreamcast and early PS2 era, and the Switch 2 confirmation ensures a whole new generation can experience it on the go. It is one of the more anticipated Sega revivals currently in development. 13th on the list, Wo Long 2 Wings of Ember was revealed at the Xbox Game Showcase and simultaneously confirmed for Nintendo Switch 2 with an early 2027 window from Koei Tecmo. The original Wo Long was a tense action RPG set in a dark fantasy vision of ancient China, and this sequel appears to push the combat systems even further. Getting a sequel to a Souls-like adjacent game on Switch 2 at launch window parity is a strong signal of the platform's growing standing with third-party action game developers. Fans of demanding combat-focused RPGs have a major reason to be excited. At number 14, Valheim was confirmed for Nintendo Switch 2 during the PC Gaming Show segment of Summer Game Fest weekend. The Viking survival sandbox has been one of the most consistently popular games on PC since its 2021 release, with a dedicated player base that has followed the game through multiple major content updates. The Switch 2 version brings the full experience to handheld and docked play for the first time, and the co-op survival gameplay feels like a natural fit for the platform. This is a game with proven staying power and an audience that knows exactly what they are getting. Number 15 is Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 3, which was unveiled at Summer Game Fest with a new mechanic called Sprites that players collect and extract between matches in a mode called Runners. The Zero Point has cracked open the island and transformed the environment into something dramatically different from previous seasons. Fortnite on Switch 2 benefits from the improved hardware, with better frame rates and visual fidelity over the original Switch version. With millions of active players globally, this is still one of the most searched gaming topics on YouTube every single season. At number 16, Cuphead received a major announcement at Summer Game Fest, with 2 brand new Cuphead games confirmed to be in development. The original game remains one of the most beloved indie titles of the last decade and is already available on Nintendo Switch. The sequels are described as new retro-inspired adventures, carrying forward the gorgeous hand-drawn animation and brutal boss rush gameplay that made the original famous. Details are still limited, but the confirmation of 2 new games in the series is the kind of news that keeps a franchise in active trending searches for months. Coming in at number 17, Trine 6 Together in Time was revealed at the Day of the Devs showcase with a confirmed Switch 2 release. The puzzle platformer supports 1 to 4 players cooperatively and brings back the wit and teamwork-driven design the series is known for across a new fantasy world. The Trine series has always been a particularly good fit for Nintendo hardware given its co-op focus and visually stunning presentation, and the 6th entry looks to push that tradition even further. Players who enjoy imaginative co-op puzzle platformers will find a lot here. 18th on the list, Vampire Survivors received an announcement at Summer Game Fest that included a Switch 2 version alongside new DLC content and a name update, signaling a new chapter for the franchise. The game has been one of the most played and most talked about indie titles since its release, and consistently ranks among the top searched gaming topics in the bullet heaven genre. The Switch 2 version promises improved performance over the original Switch release, and the new DLC gives existing fans fresh content to dig into right away, an essential pick for anyone who has not experienced it yet. At number 19, Cassette Beasts 2022 is the sequel to the critically acclaimed monster-catching RPG, Cassette Beasts, confirmed for Nintendo Switch 2 at the PC Gaming Show segment of Summer Game Fest weekend. The original game won widespread praise for its creative monster fusion system and engaging world building, and this sequel appears to lean even further into the 2022 era aesthetic the subtitle suggests. It is one of the most exciting indie RPG announcements of the year for players who have been following the genre and looking for alternatives to Pokémon with more mechanical depth. Coming in at number 20, Starseeker Astroneer Expeditions is the Switch 2 space adventure from Devolver Digital that received an extended 17-minute gameplay reveal leading up to and during Summer Game Fest. Built on the beloved Astroneer universe, it takes the survival exploration formula into something more structured and expedition-focused with a strong narrative backbone. The gameplay footage looked polished and distinct, and Devolver's track record for backing quality indie experiences gives this one a lot of credibility. Switch 2 players looking for a genuinely fresh open-world experience should pay close attention. At number 21, Citizen Sleeper 2 received a Nintendo Switch 2 Edition announcement as part of the story-rich showcase at Summer Game Fest weekend. The original Citizen Sleeper 2 was widely considered one of the best narrative games of 2025. Praised for its atmospheric writing, strategic dice-based mechanics, and deeply humane storytelling set aboard a space station. The Switch 2 Edition brings the complete experience to the platform with any available enhancements. If you enjoy games that take their story seriously and reward thoughtful decision-making, this is one of the finest examples available. Number 22 is Cozy Grove Camp Spirit, the wholesome sequel to the beloved LifeSim Cozy Grove, announced with a Nintendo Switch 2 Edition at the Wholesome Direct Showcase. You help a cast of adorable ghost bears find peace through crafting, building, and exploration across a charming camping island environment. The original game built a loyal and passionate fan base, and this sequel expands on the formula with new mechanics and a bigger world. It is the kind of warm and inviting game that never fights too hard and consistently delivers exactly what its audience is looking for. At number 23, Go-Go Town had its Switch 2 presence highlighted at Summer Game Fest, giving players a town building and management sim where you take on the role of a hands-on mayor. You plan neighborhoods, automate logistics, grow a community, and manage the chaos of day-to-day town operations, either solo or in co-op with friends. The game targets fans of simulation and management titles that want something with more active engagement than a pure idle builder. Its cheerful visual style and cooperative multiplayer mode make it one of the more broadly appealing life sim-style titles in this lineup. Coming in at number 24, Moonlight Peaks received a Nintendo Switch 2 Edition announcement at the Wholesome Direct, bringing this supernatural life sim to the platform with an improved presentation. You play as a character returning to a haunted family cottage with the goal of proving to a skeptical father that compassion is possible even in the undead world, while befriending creatures of the night and cultivating a gothic harvest lifestyle. The combination of spooky aesthetics and cozy gameplay mechanics gives it a genuinely distinct personality in the crowded life sim genre, and it has been generating strong community interest since its announcement. Rounding out the list at number 25, Little Nightmares 3 received its first major DLC announcement at Summer Game Fest, with the Backstage expansion arriving as part of the Secrets of the Spiral Pass. The base game is already available on Switch, and continues the series' tradition of unsettling atmospheric horror platforming with beautiful and disturbing visual design. The DLC adds new environments, new challenges, and extends the story in ways that players have been eagerly anticipating since the game launched. If you enjoy cinematic horror games with strong art direction and tense gameplay, this series deserves a spot in your library.